Hi folks. Last week we took a look at some different aspects of computational thinking. We looked specifically in Scratch at things like looping structures and if-then types of structures. We want to look at another powerful structure this week, and that's the idea of a module. Now, a module in Scratch or any programming language is essentially just a command that you create yourself. And you can create a command that does something fairly complex, and then once you've built this command, you can use it simply wherever you need it and whenever you need it, and don't have to worry about that complexity anymore. So let me show you what I mean in Scratch. So I'll just start with a blank Scratch area. We have our cat. Now you'll see that on the left side we've got all these commands, and you're probably used to most of them. You've probably looked through them and saw what's available. But the really powerful thing about Scratch is that you can create your own blocks. So in addition to all these blocks, you can create your own as well. And you can have that block do something complex. Once you've created that block, you can reuse it in different situations as often as you like. So let's try to create a block so you can see what I mean. Now before we do that, click on this Add Extension button at the very bottom of your screen and add in the pen functionality. This will add a bunch more blocks to your Scratch that let you do some drawing with the cat. It has a pen down, which means when the cat moves, draw behind it, and then a pen up, which means stop the cat from drawing, functions to set the pen color, to change the pen color, and so forth. So you'll need these to play around and do some of the things we're going to look at today. Okay, now let's go back to our task of building a new block. So I'm going to go to My Blocks. Right now I don't have any blocks, and I'm going to create one. So I'll click on Make a Block. I'm going to call the block Square. And I'm going to ignore these three things for now. So this will be my new block. It's going to look like this. And Square is going to do a fairly simple thing. It's going to draw a square on the screen. So I've defined Square, but at the moment it doesn't do anything. So I've got to create the code that draws the square. So I'm going to do that by first putting the pen down. I'm going to go up to the motion. I'm going to move 100 steps. I'm going to turn 90 degrees. Move 100 steps. We turn 90 degrees. We remember our squares have 4 right angles, so move another 100 steps. Turn 90 degrees. 1, 2, 3, and that's the 4th side. And then we'll turn another 90 degrees to get back where we started. Okay. So now we have a command. The command is called square, and when we execute it, the cat will draw a square. Let's try it out. We'll start by going to Events. So I'm going to just put this down here. Okay, when the green flag is clicked, draw a square. So it's a very small program. Let's try it out. There we go. So basically the program said draw a square, and it went down and executed all of these blocks here. Okay, let's try something else. Let's try something more complex. We'll start with Control, and we'll bring in Repeat. like this. So we're going to draw squares repeatedly. Let's draw 36 squares, but drawing 36 squares one on top of another isn't very exciting, so let's rotate the square 10 degrees. So it's going to draw a square, then the cat's going to rotate 10 degrees, draw another square, rotate 10 degrees. It'll do that 36 times in a row. Let's take a look at it. And there we go. Okay, let's try something even a little more complex. Let's change the color. So as the cat goes through the loop here, it'll draw a square, turn 10 degrees, change the pen color, so it'll increase the value of the color by 10, draw another square, and so forth. So it'll do this 36 times. Let's give it a try. So there you can see we've got a bit of a kind of a spirograph, colorful design here. And you can kind of see how this works. I'm going to just change this to 2 just to make it a little easier to see. So you can see it drew the first square here, then the cat rotated 10 degrees, changed the color slightly, and then drew the second square, right? And then if you repeat that 36 times, we get this neat effect. So the really powerful thing about this is once I've got the code for creating my square, as I do here, I can just use this square command anywhere and it will draw what I want. Really nice, it's fast and easy, and I don't have to worry about the complexity of drawing the square anymore because all of that is locked away down here. So I can think at a higher level and think about the bigger structure of what I want to build. So it's a very powerful ability and very powerful part of computational thinking and coding in general to be able to create blocks like this that execute something complex. You can imagine, for example, that if a student wanted to create a picture of a forest of trees, it'd be very valuable to create a block called tree, and then once you have that one block that draws a nice tree, you can just use things like repeat loops and other functions to draw as many trees as you want on the screen. Okay, so that's one thing that I hope we can take a look at this week, Square. I'm going to follow this up with another video that shows you how you can even add more functionality to blocks that you create on your own.